Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We're so glad that you're here with us. This is going to be the holiday shopping safely, securely, and sensibly with our very own Miss Tanisha. This is part of our fall reading challenge. So if you're taking part in that, please feel free to check off attended a webinar. That's a great way to do this, and it's also a great way to stay online both safely and securely. My name is Jason. I am a librarian here with the Tampa Hillsborough County Library, and I am going to turn it over to, I don't know which side she is, but Miss Tanisha.
Hi there. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Holiday Shopping Safely, Securely, and Sensibly. So this afternoon, we're doing kind of a lunch and learn thing where we're going to go over just some good sound holiday shopping tips and tricks, and not only for holiday shopping, but just for shopping and being aware of scams and data security in general. So before we get started, we always like to have our book shout out. So, shopping obviously is a personal preference of what you like to shop for and how you like to shop. So I thought I would go with budgeting. So one of the books we have available in our catalog is Budgeting 101. So good one just to help you learn the basics of how to do a budget, how to save money, all of those types of things. And it's available as a physical book or available on Overdrive or Libby as an ebook. So it's just a good resource for there to be. And I'm going to go ahead and take myself off the camera so we can just see our slideshow a little bit better. And I'm actually, before we get into the material, I'm going to launch a poll here because I would like to know how you all plan on doing your holiday shopping. So I just went ahead and opened up the poll. So how do you plan on doing your shopping? Are you going to do it exclusively online? Are you going to do it at a brick and mortar store or a combination of online and in store? So I'll give you guys a few minutes here to go ahead and answer, or a few seconds, I should say. Go ahead and collect those responses here. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and let's see how people plan on doing their holiday shopping. All right, so it looks like we are doing a combination of online and in-store. That's fantastic. I think a lot of people are doing that this year. So let's go ahead and dive into the material. All right, so let's go ahead and start with some holiday shopping basics. A lot of this is some stuff that you may already know, but it's always just worth going through just to make sure that we got the basics down. Of course, the first one is make a budget. You want to make sure that you have a nice sound budget. You want to make sure that you have enough funds to buy everything you need. You want to make sure that you got everybody covered. Something really important, and it's something that I always have to remember every year to include in your budget, is all of the incidentals that go along with the gifts. So tape, wrapping paper, bags, and this is especially important this year. You're also going to want to make sure to factor in shipping costs. So if you have to ship something to someone, you want to budget that in as well. Number two, do your research. So make sure that you are researching prices on the things that you want, researching items, not even the prices, but just the items themselves. Like if somebody wants a TV, if somebody wants an electronic or anything else, just doing your research to make sure that what you are buying them is, the right thing, making sure you're getting your money's worth, making sure it's not a lemon, just making sure you're getting a really good thing there. Number three, thinking outside of the box. So it is really, really easy, and I'm definitely guilty of this, of thinking of what I like to call the big three: Amazon, Walmart, and Target. There are a bunch of other retailers out there. There are a bunch of other small local businesses. So just something to keep in mind as you're doing your shopping. Think outside of that Amazon box or that Walmart box of just going to the big three, because it's a good way of making sure that you could easily find something else that's really nice or really cool, or the perfect gift for somebody else by just thinking outside of the box. Make a shopping plan. So based on the poll results that we got, it seems like a lot of you guys or all of you guys actually are planning on doing a mixture of online and in-store shopping. So, you're definitely going to want to make sure that the stores that you're going to are open. Some may only be offering curbside at this point. Some may be wide open. You're going to want to make sure you have your hand sanitizer and your masks wherever you go. You may want to, check and research some of the busier times or the less busy times if you want to avoid crowds, especially if you want to avoid crowds. So make sure that you have that shopping plan. And last but not least, be ready for shortages and delays. This is especially important this year with COVID. Just talking to friends and families, I know that there's a lot of people that are already having issues trying to find not only with gifts, but finding the things that they need. I noticed when I went to the store the other day that toilet paper was getting a little low again. So just be ready for maybe the item that you were thinking of buying for somebody to not be there, or be ready, especially this year, because everybody's going to be shipping everything. Make sure that you're ready for any delays that may happen. So not to discourage you from buying something, but just be prepared for there to be some issues with shortages and delays. All right, saving your money. So can't stress this enough. Do your research. So make sure that you're checking sites, you're checking, we're going to go over some ways that you can compare prices or look for coupons, but just do your research on what you plan to buy, especially for those big ticket items like TVs or other electronics. So just do your research, do a quick Google search, look around and see who's offering the deals, what prices for what. Just make sure you're doing your research. Also important to remember, Black Friday lasts for weeks. It used to be the case where those big deals were only on Black Friday or later on Cyber Monday. That is not the case. A lot of retailers are already doing their holiday, their Black Friday, I'm doing air quotes right now at home, their Black Friday prices already. Even before I hopped on for this program, I did a quick search, and a lot of major retailers are already offering steep discounts. And those discounts will continue through the entire month, especially with the way things have been this year, with a lot of people holding off on buying things. A lot of retailers are really eager for their money, so they're going to be willing to offer things at deep discounts. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to rush out on Black Friday. A lot of these Black Friday deals are going to last for a long time. Consider using a price tracking app. And I say consider because we're going to go over data safety here in a little bit, but you may want to consider using a price tracking app. So some of the ones you may have heard of, there's Buy Via, so like buying something via, 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 Shop Savvy and Scan Life. So what they do is you can put in an item. So let's say you want, a certain brand 70-inch TV, and it will compare the price a bunch against major retailers. So you're able to see, oh, this place has this TV for this price, or this place has this TV for this price. So it's a good way for you to compare prices, especially on those big ticket items. Also, consider using a coupon app. So there's a ton of coupon apps out there, some of the big ones, and or a browser plugin. For those that may not know, a browser plugin is just something that you would add to, like, if you use Chrome, if you use Firefox, whatever browser that you use to look for things. It's just a plugin. You can Google it and it'll walk you through the instructions to install it, which will automatically scan for coupons or scan like, hey, there's this coupon here that you can apply. And other coupon apps like Ibotta or Retail Me Not, which is just kind of like a warehouse of coupon apps. And if I haven't said it already, because I tend to forget this, I'm taking questions at the end. So anything that you have, any questions, please be sure to ask them. I'm very happy to answer them. And last but not least, use your credit card or loyalty program rewards. I always forget about my credit card rewards. So I'm very happy to share this one because a lot of credit cards offer rewards that you can either use as cash or use at certain retailers. Also, think about the places like if you have like loyalty points at like Target or Walmart or even Amazon, like keep that in mind when you're shopping, that to use those loyalty program rewards to help lower the cost of your items. They're there for you to use. It's a good way for you to save money. So we saved our money, and now we're going to talk about saving our sanity, because holiday shopping can definitely be stressful. So some ways to just help you navigate, especially with our, I hate to use the cliche new normal, but things are definitely different this year. as far as how we go with shopping. So this is a big one. Check those shipping timelines before you buy. Everybody is going to be shipping everything. We already know at this time of the year, like there's always backlogs when it comes to shipping. So just make sure that before you buy something online, that you check and see how long it'll get there. Most retailers are really good about letting you know if there's going to be any type of delay. So just make sure you check for those timelines to make sure that you get things there in a timely fashion. On top of that, if you're not really that concerned about it getting there by Christmas, if you're okay with it arriving a little bit after, you may be able to get a discount on your shipping too. So that's something else to keep in mind. Like if you're okay with it coming a little bit later, a lot of retailers will offer lower shipping costs if you select a longer shipping timeline. This is also very important. Take a look at return policies. I personally worked in retail for a long time, and one of the biggest hangups that we had at this time of the year were returns for gifts. A lot of people did not, and we're going to talk about keeping the receipt here in a minute. A lot of people didn't keep the receipt. A lot of people didn't check the shipping timelines. At the store I worked at, we had people trying to return Christmas gifts in July, which was way past our policy as far as when we could take returns. If you are buying from an online retailer, you may want to check and see if they have a brick and mortar store, if whoever you're gifting for is able to return it at the physical store. Just make sure that you are looking at those return policies. And I just mentioned before, keep the receipt because you never know. Most retailers are not going to take your item back if you don't have the receipt, period. So even if you don't keep the paper receipt, especially with shipping, the email that you get is the same thing as the paper receipt. So make sure you keep that email with the details, with an order number. Make sure you have that order number. Just make sure you have some record of what you bought in case it needs to be returned. This goes with mentioning double check for coupons and discounts. So just right before you buy, just do one more quick check to make sure that there aren't any coupons and discounts anywhere else. And this is just more general. If you're not sure what to buy, consider buying a gift card. I had never turned down a gift card. Local shops or experiences. Now, the experiences one is really big in the past years. Instead of buying a physical item, people really value the experience more. And if you want to combine the two, I know last year I asked for plane ticket gift cards for airlines so that I could use the gift cards to buy plane tickets. I mean, didn't end up using them this year, but they don't expire, so I'll be able to use them when things get a little bit more normal. So just something to keep in mind if you're having a hard time trying to find that perfect gift, these are other options that you have. And so now we are going to jump into more of the safety and security of holiday shoppings because unfortunately, scammers are out there. People are always finding more inventive ways to take your money. So we definitely want to keep these things in mind when we are shopping. So with avoiding shopping scams, carefully consider online reviews. Unfortunately, not every review that's posted is honest. There are companies that buy fake positive reviews. There are competing companies that buy fake negative reviews. And even sometimes, people will post reviews that have nothing to do with the product. Like if they don't like somebody who works at that store, they'll post a negative review of that store. So when you're looking at reviews, just be very careful and just make sure that you are really vetting them, reading between the lines, because people aren't always honest when they're reviewing things. So of course, if you look at, and this is also really important, look at several different places when you're looking at online reviews. So don't just look at Yelp. Don't just look at Google reviews, look at all of them. Because of course, if you see a pattern along all of them, then it might, be more, make more sense, but just make sure that you're carefully considering those online reviews. Be skeptical of social media ads. This is also really important. So I'm sure you've seen them on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, where a company will post an ad that sometimes includes a really steep discount or something, you know, they're selling a product that should be way more expensive for way less. Those social media ads aren't always honest. The product may not exist, and they may be offering fake discounts or a fake product in exchange for your data. So that's something else to keep in mind with shopping scams. People aren't always looking for your money. They're also looking for your data. So they're looking for your name, they're looking for your phone number, they're looking for your email. They're looking for a bunch of different things out there. So be very skeptical of social media ads. If you see, so a prime example is you see somebody trying to sell a TV that's worth, you know, $700 for $100, you may want to be very skeptical of that ad because that might just be a scam to, you know, scam you out of $100. Only shop on secure websites and use secure checkout methods. So I'm going to do a little demonstration here. So I'm going to come out of my PowerPoint and I'm going to hop over to Chrome. So to ensure that you are shopping on a secure site, when you are looking at a web address, and remember the web address is, you know, the website that you're going to, you are going to look for this, which I'm highlighting on my screen at the beginning of the website. So HTTPS, the S stands for secure. And I'm on our library website now. Our library website is a secure site. And there's usually also a lock there too. So that means that the site that you are on is a secure site. That means that they're encrypting your data so it's not out there for everybody to see. So if you are doing any type of monetary transaction online, you're going to want to, or entering your data for that matter, you're going to want to make sure that that is at the beginning of the website. And if it's not, I would not use that website. Almost every major retailer is making sure that their site is secure. And let me go back. And that goes for checkout methods. You want to make sure, of course, when you're putting in your credit or debit card number, that is a secure checkout method. And the site that you're using should have the same, that HTTPS also on there as well. There'll also be other ways to verify that that you're using a secure method. And of course, if somebody is asking you for any type of gift card that is not the gift card for the place that you're shopping at, do not buy. If any time that there is somebody's asking you for like an iTunes gift card or a Google gift card in place of cash, it is almost always a scam. Like, you should be able to pay them using almost any payment method. And of course, the old adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. If you're seeing a deal that just is like, wow, that is such a wonderful deal, this is too good to be true, it probably is, don't do it. A lot of those deep discounts are a way for you to part with your money or a way for you to part with your data. So if you see something that's too good to be true, it probably is, leave it alone. And this is also another reminder that I have provided handouts in the handout section that goes over ways to avoid fraud, ways to be smart about your holiday shopping, and ways to avoid scams. So definitely make sure to download those as well. And last but not least, report fraud and scams. I'm going to include the link at the end of the slideshow so that you can just jot that down. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, that's where you would go to report any fraud or scams. They really, especially this time of year, they do a big, cybersecurity push because they need people to report fraud and scams so that they know that they're out there and so that they can try to prosecute the people who are perpetrating these scams. So if you do come across a scam, or fraud, be sure to report it so that those people could be stopped. This is very important, safeguarding your data. So in this day and age, as much as people definitely want to part with your money, they also want you to part with your data because data is extremely valuable in this day and age. You can use that data to do all types of stuff. A good example of this is, like, for example, if you are on a social media account, you may notice that the ads that you are getting are very targeted. You may notice, after you go on a food website, that all of a sudden you're getting, all these ads or food ads. Or if you go to a certain retailer, you'll hop on Instagram and you'll notice, I was just on that website and now they're trying to sell me stuff. So data is very important to not only scammers, but to a lot of companies. So here are a few ways for you to safeguard your data. Check permissions on apps. You may notice on certain apps when you open them, this app would like permission to use your location services. This app would like access to your contacts. This app would like access to your microphone. Carefully consider whether or not those apps need your location services or need your contacts. Almost always they don't. There's certain retailer apps that I have and I immediately say no. That app does not need to know where I am. They don't need to know where I live. They don't need to know, where I work. So try to minimize the permissions that you have on your apps. And this goes not only for shopping, but for in general. Most of the time, these apps don't need that data. So just make sure you're very careful, especially with your location services. Make sure that you are very careful on what apps have permissions to view what on your devices. Going with devices, make sure that your devices and passwords are updates. All of those updates that may seem like nuisances to you are very, very important because those updates include security updates, and that is very important when it goes to safeguarding your data, safeguarding your phone and your tablets have a lot of information on them. So make sure you are keeping those devices update and also update your passwords. If you've been using the same password for 15 years, and this is really important, if you're using the same password for everything, you definitely want to reconsider that. There are password managers out there. There are ways for you to manage passwords that's a little bit more safe and secure. So just make sure that your devices and your passwords are updated. Consider using intermediate payment methods. For those who may not know, an intermediate payment method is something like PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. So those are just in-between sources that make it possible for you to not give a retailer your credit card number or your debit card number. So especially with Apple Pay, what it does is it sends some other encrypted number to, use your money. You're still paying with money or credit, obviously, but it's another intermediate payment method that just is another step between that retailer and your actual credit card number. So that's something you may want to consider, using like Apple Pay. If they give you the option to use Apple Pay or Google Pay, that's something that you may want to consider. Going along with that, do not store your payment information on retailer sites. Everybody can be hacked. Even secure sites can be hacked. Everybody can be hacked. So you've heard of them. You've heard of major retailers with major hacks. So even though it's inconvenient especially if you use a site very often, to constantly have to re-enter your payment information, it is just smarter not to store it. Just give them your payment information every time you pay for something. It's really not wise. And a lot of retailers are getting hip to that. They're getting wise to that. And they are offering, you to use PayPal or Apple Pay or something else where you're not giving them your payment information. And this is also very important. Give the least amount of data possible. So especially when you sign up for those coupons or you sign up to an email list, give the least amount of data possible. So sometimes those surveys will have like when you want your name, your address, your this, your that. Give the least amount of data possible. As a rule of thumb, what I normally do, because sometimes I do want those coupons, especially if I'm buying something, I want the coupon. Is I have a secondary email that I call kind of like my junk email that I send all of these subscriptions to, and I give like my first name and sometimes even a fake last initial, or sometimes I'll even make up a first name. Give the least amount of data possible. They basically want this data to aggregate it, to target you, to send you ads and all that type of stuff. They really don't need it. So if they're asking you for all those things, you are not obligated to fill out all of those fields. And if they are trying to make you fill out all those fields, I would carefully consider whether or not you want to use that service. All right, so now we are going to jump back on camera, and Jason, let me know if there are any questions.
Absolutely, Ms. Tanisha. Thank you so much. That was so informative. And as someone who has been shopping online for years, this was eye-opening. So we did have one question so far, and that is, you mentioned a couple of apps at the very beginning to have comparisons and a couple of apps for coupons. Could you remind us what those are?
I sure can. So the reason why I didn't include them in the slideshow is because I definitely encourage you all to do your research on which ones are the best for you. And of course, to keep it from being an advertisement for these certain things, as I found a lot of them just by doing a quick Google search. But for price checking, there is buy via, so that is B as in boy, U-Y, V as in Victor, I-A, so like buy, like the word buy, and then via, so like V-I-A. There's also Shop Savvy, that's one word, Shop Savvy, and Scan Life, so like scanning something in life, so Scan Life, one word. And then the coupon app or plugin is Honey. So Honey is a browser plugin, so like if you use Chrome, you can just Google Honey and it'll add it as you can add it as a browser plugin. And Retail Me Not. So retail, like a retail store, me not, me and then not. So those are some really awesome ones that I found and some that I know that people use who they're really happy with them. And while we're seeing if there are any other questions, a few things, of course, if you'd like to contact the library, there's our link for contacting us. You can call us, you can email us, you can text us. There's a bunch of different ways to contact us. Also, if you're interested in any other programs and events, we also have the link there. Our fall reading challenge is still happening. It's happening through the 10th of December. So definitely check that out. That is also available on the events page and that link that I had mentioned before. For more information, not only on holiday shopping, but just in retail, fraud, scams, consumer related things, consumer.ftc.gov is a great resource. In fact, all of the handouts that I have provided for you today came from that website. I figured they did a really good job of summing everything up, so I went ahead and just included those as handouts as well.
Great, thank you. I don't see any other questions other than just, when we do upload those, put those, that bit of information into YouTube so that we can use it later for those price tracking apps as well as for the coupons. But otherwise, thank you so much, Ms. Tanisha. This was very informative and very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. And
thank you, everyone, for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. And just one last thing before I go. Again, I can't stress enough, do your research. So I did throw out some suggestions for you, but definitely do your research on which apps and which things are best for you as far as it goes with your data safety and what is going to get you the best deal.
Absolutely. Definitely take the time, do that. Another great resource to use is our on our databases, consumer reports, so that you can do the comparisons of what is the best product for you with the best details and specifications. Have a great holiday season and good luck. Be safe. Take care. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.